Why are you sad, Johnny?
I don't know. Things are just, I don't know how much longer I've got.
You know what? Hold that thought.
Okay.
This is
I
the
got plenty of
half-ass
time. Go for
podcast. This is the this is the half-ass podcast,
it.
and
Yeah.
John might be dying.
Mhm.
All right, John. What you were telling me earlier that you went to the doctor.
Oh, I've been going to the doctor for years now, man. Just years.
Why are you talking to me like you're a recovering drug addict?
Because, man, it's just each day, one day at a time. You gotta accept that there's a power above you, and you take it one day at a time, man. One step at a time, one day at a time, one line at a time.
So I want to
No,
get to
it's not.
that. I want to get to that later, but I want to know about your doctor. So
I
you've been
got
going to
no
the
idea.
doctor.
That's my problem. I got no idea what's going on. I've been going on this. It's been for about 8 or 9 years now. I've been dealing with this. I have what they like to call it in the medical profession, multiple familia lipoma. Yeah, lipomas, plural.
Would
Non-cancerous fatty tumors.
oh,
Oh yeah, I got
I've
them
had
all
one of
over my
those on my
torso.
leg.
Yeah, but some people have one. Some people, usually men, if they're gonna have multiple, it's the men that do. Women don't usually have multiple. But I got them all over my torso. Every doctor I've seen so far has said more than they've ever seen on somebody that my age before. And
Oh,
I don't
that's
know.
crazy.
I think my dad probably had it because it's usually genetic. And they always ask me, like, well, who in your family? My dad was one of those guys that would never tell you what was going on with him. He could have had, actually, when he he died of emphysema and colon cancer, or cancer.
Oh,
But
that's real funny.
yeah, so the funny part is when he was first when we first discovered he had colon cancer is because he wasn't able to shit. He was going on for like weeks just not shitting, and we were going back and forth to the doctor. And before we went to the doctor, actually, he's complaining to me, I'm not shitting, I can't get things moving. Go buy me some X-Lax and all. Try, and then I said to him one day, "Do you ever have like blood down there?" And he said, "Well, not more than the normal amount." Like, the what? The normal amount? There is no normal amount.
Yeah. I go crazy. I had a fucking hemorrhoid once, and it
Yeah.
started bleeding. I went insane.
Yeah, well, that's the difference too. I've had hemorrhoid before too, and it's the bright red blood, which is okay. It's the dark blood that means it's coming from inside. But anyway, the point is, he could have had these things all over him, and he would have never said anything. So he probably got it from him.
You
But
thought it was
anyway,
the normal amount.
they get they get bigger over time. They push on nerves and muscles, so it's really uncomfortable. But my new symptom is when I'm laying flat against my back, my arms go numb.
Like how numb.
like
Like
like they don't exist anymore numb. like
that's not funny.
I just got back from Iraq numb.
Oh, like the inside of a stripper's heart numb.
Yeah, like non-existent. You're right. But
Yeah.
well, not really. I mean, it's like tingly. It starts in my elbows, works its way down to my fingertips. But then, if I relieve the pressure, it comes right back. So I'm thinking,
So
all right, it's probably these things because they're back there. And before, because insurance, how fucking great insurance is.
yeah,
Insurance wouldn't cover the removal of these things, even though they cause me pain and like some days it's like really bad. It's not covered under insurance because it's considered cosmetic to have them removed because they're not life threatening, which is
they
just
have to be
bullshit.
life threatening,
Yeah.
even if it causes you pain.
Yep. It's not like interfering with, because basically when I answer the question of like, I mean, you go to work and all still, so I'm still living a normal life. So it's considered cosmetic if I have them removed. But the bitch about these things is if you have them removed, they come back. I had one taken out before the test. They just wanted to make sure it wasn't cancerous. There's two now where they took that one out. They're like fucking gremlins.
Oh, great! It's like the Hydra of
Yeah.
fucking fatty tissue. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, you pour water on them. You can't feed them after midnight.
So
But
are they huge? Well, I mean,
there's
what
all
are the
different sizes.
sizes?
They range in size from just a little tiny peanut to this one I got on the side here. I'm
Yeah.
holding it with my whole hand. It's like I don't know,
Oh
so,
wow.
like a mini football. But
Wow.
and there's like three or four of attached to that. But I went to the doctor Friday because of the numbness. My doctor said, "All right, well, this could be a good thing though because maybe insurance will cover it now because it would actually be causing nerve damage." This
Yeah.
doctor, who my guess was 22, 23 years old, today, which is great because I'm that old guy now. Like, oh, who's this young doctor?
Yeah.
That's actually who you want, probably. Anyway, nice, But he says that, well, these ones are probably causing discomfort. We can take these out, but they don't cause nerve pain because they're not deep enough ever. They're like below the skin, above the fatty tissue, so they're not close enough to nerves to actually cut off circulation or anything like that. So that's not what it is.
So did you ask? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you
I don't
hey,
know.
what? They don't. Well,
That's not his
awesome.
department. He's just a general surgeon. He'll remove the lipomas that are bothering me if I want. But
Well, that's cool.
as far as why I'm getting them, I'm back to the drawing board, back to my other doctor to say, well, he didn't know, so send me somewhere else.
Dude, that's insane. As for the age of a doctor, I think 23. I don't want a 23-year-old doctor.
Well, I don't think I'm exaggerating. The resident that came in, it was one of those deals where the resident came in first, and he's going to ask me everything because he's just learning. He was definitely 22, 23. This guy was he's probably my age. I don't know, maybe late 20s, early 30s. But he just looked younger, so yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want my doctor old enough to understand the old ways, but young enough to try some of the new ways too.
Exactly.
But I don't want like the completely new, like, hey, dude, I got this homeopathic remedy.
Yeah, let me Google it for you.
I gotta go to WebMD, dude. I'll be right back.
Or when he comes in the room, you hear, the doc is in to fix you up. If you're a toy, then you're in luck. It's okay to be afraid.
Yeah,
Doc
no, I don't want to hear that.
Doc McStuffins.
He's singing. Like, excuse me, but go away.
But anyway, yeah, I'm back to the drawing board. I have no idea why the fuck I'm waking up with numb arms, and these lumps are getting bigger when they cut them out. I'm gonna look like a beanbag eventually.
That's awesome. I would sit in you. I would literally just move in to your house and just sit in you all the time.
I'd say about 8 years or so ago when I first started seeing them pop up, which was extremely terrifying because it was right around the same time that my dad was dying of cancer. My mom just beat breast cancer. So, okay. Both parents have cancer. Now I have lumps all over my body.
A family affair. Yeah.
Whee!
Let's all do this together, guys.
I probably had 5 or 6 then. And I'd say the last time I actually tried to count, I probably have about 34, 35 of them now.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's fun.
Oh, so let's move on to something a little bit lighter. Dude, you got to keep us up to date on what's going on with that.
I will.
I don't even know why you're bringing it up until now. It's taking you until now to bring this up. I mean, we've been going at this for like 3 years now.
I guess I'm a little bit like my dad that I was just complaining about.
I mean, geez. I mean, we've literally been talking once a week for 3 years.
I definitely mentioned them
bringing
before.
this up now. No.
Definitely mentioned that I've had them before.
No,
but
you haven't. No, you haven't. Not once.
Dude,
a mini football on your back. I would have remembered that.
I showed you them. Yeah.
Oh. So I want to. Earlier you said higher power, right? You're an ex-addict, and I'm an ex-addict.
Right. I use the term X loosely with myself.
Yeah. But and I went to rehab. I don't know if you went to rehab. Did you go to rehab or did you just? Okay, so I went to a rehab. I was court ordered to go, and in rehab they said that you need a higher power. You know, AA they say you need a higher power, but as an atheist, I found that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Now, did you believe in a higher power as you were quitting, or?
No, and I because it was only recently. My quitting was more of this is just getting stupid, so I'm just not going to do it anymore. I was lucky enough to do that, I guess. I wasn't I'm sure there's different levels of addiction. I wasn't far off enough where I think I needed like a support group. I was kind of just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I just fucking fought through the burn and did it.
Yeah, no, and that I sobered up for a good maybe 3 days and looked at everybody else around me and realized how much fucking losers they were.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm a loser too.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I'm gonna catch another court case here soon, and I assault charges out the ass. You can look me up right now, and I have assault charges out the ass just from doing stupid shit, fucking robbery charges, all kinds of stupid shit from back when I was a kid, and I just had a moment of clarity. But the thing that got me is I'm sitting in rehab, right? And I'm 19, 20 years old, and I profess the fact that I'm an atheist. I knew I was an atheist then, you know.
Yeah.
And the lady looks at me.
They don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, the lady looks at me and says, "Well, it's sad to see that you're not going to succeed."
Yeah, that fucking disgusting. She said that to you?
Yeah, she said that to me.
Our license should be taken away.
I just want to call the bitch up and just like, hey, I don't even. The only thing that's stopping me is I don't remember her fucking name. I don't remember her name, and I want to call that bitch up and say, hey, guess what? How many fucking other people have you seen in there besides me? Because you know what? I'm an atheist. I'm fucking clean and sober. Didn't need no fucking higher power. Go fuck yourself.
We know what you could do to find her again. I think you could just get a little bit back into it, start drinking a little bit, like more, start, getting some meth, find some drugs, get really hooked again and need recovery. And then you'll probably, maybe it'll be the same group.
Go back in there?
Yeah.
Oh. Just like, hey, like, I'm sober. I was sober for like 20 years, man.
And I didn't even need God.
but I wanted to find you, bitch.
Pick it up again. Yeah,
Start crying.
That's such a shitty thing. It's that whole, you can't do it. People are, I don't know. I don't think I've become more atheist or more against religion. I think it's more that, like, the more technology and science advances, the idea that people still believe this shit anyway just gets crazier and crazier each day as we discover new things. Like, I'm not going to fault people back in the 1500s that were like, oh, the sun doesn't revolve around the earth. All right, you don't know any better. But
yeah.
But now thinking about that shit, it's fucking crazy.
Oh, creationism, anti-vaxxers, climate change deniers, people who say GMOs are trying to kill us. You know what? You know what the fucking biggest GMO is that is ever fucking happened is corn. Yeah. Corn is a fucking genetically modified organism. And if you don't fucking believe me, go back and see what it came from. It came from essentially a blade of grass.
Yeah. It's this gets sucked into it, but I don't want to get too far off your addiction recovery thing. You were saying.
Oh, yeah, no, I can just go anywhere we want. Now I'm on the fucking fact that our country is so fucking science illiterate. It's just maddening.
I did just there's Scotland just outlawed GMO growth, especially in corn, actually. And the Scottish scientists released this huge paper basically like saying, yo, assholes, were you fucking stupid? We're like improving things here. We're not like putting dangerous chemicals into something. You're just genetically modifying what's already there to make it better and more sustainable.
Yeah, and it's retarded because everybody, snowflake conspiracy theorists. Have you seen those snowballs where they like, oh, look at this snow, it's not melting.
See that. I saw a fucking senator in Congress bring it in there and do it. A leader, bring a snowball in there and say, global warming, huh? What about this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got snow still. Or I'm going to hold this butane lighter up to the snow and watch it turn black. Snow doesn't turn black. The fucking butane does.
I like
fucking Jesus.
Actually, something you'll be proud of. I think Lauren had one of these moments before that you were proud of her for, and I think you'll like this one too. Fred. Good old Fred. He hasn't been on the show in a while.
No, we haven't seen him.
We got back from the carnival the other night. It was awesome. Awesome little town, suburban. I'm loving my little suburban American life. But we get back and like we're talking about how great it was, how cute Sophia looked and all. He's like, I know you guys don't really like hearing this and all, but do you ever consider once in a while, like, thanking God for all these good things He gave you? And I didn't really say anything right off the bat. And Lauren's like, why do I need to believe in a God to appreciate things? You don't have to like think it was from something, like it was a gift from something. I could just like it, like, wow, my daughter's beautiful. That's amazing. It's not.
No, and it was a gift. No, it was a gift. Your daughter was a gift from your hard fucking work, from your dedication. Yeah, well, from your dedication to make sure she doesn't get disfigured.
Yes.
She doesn't get sick or maimed or It is a gift. It's a gift of your hard work and your dedication to raising your daughter right.
Yeah, so we got into that whole thing of like, why does he get all the credit but none of the blame? And I was like, for the same God that like kills children with cancer, that's the one you want me to thank? She's like, well, and he's like, well, that's like a man-made thing. I was like, he has the power to do absolutely everything. Why would he let somebody suffer like that? So Lauren says, she's like, yeah, and if that's like some kind of test, then he's just a dickhead. Fred's face.
High five, like, Lauren. I want you to walk in there and get her a high five. Just
Fred, Fred actually like looked at her and his face dropped, and he almost like looked up like whoa, like you couldn't believe that she said that. And then after he's like stewing in it for a little bit, he actually said, he's like, oh, I think you should apologize to him, Laura. You should apologize to him. I said, that's the equivalent of like, I step on Sophia's pet elephant and she holds him up to me and says, you apologize to Mr. Elephant.
Fucking, he's holding up a doll to her and like, you bad touched him here and here and here.
You called him a bad name. You say sorry. Because she said, "Oh yeah," she's like, "I'll just write a letter to Santa Claus and apologize to him."
Yeah, fuck that shit. God is just, you know what? If he didn't exist, if God didn't exist, it was necessary to invent him. Like you said earlier, we
invented him. They needed some kind of explanation. I don't know why, but they needed it to make people sleep better at night, I guess.
To understand the world around them. And I get it. I mean, religion was the science of goat herders and, rock farmers. It was something to use to explain. But out of religion came science. Believe it or not, out of religion came science.
Yeah. The same exact way you tell a little kid the story of the boy who cried wolf. It didn't really happen, but you're teaching them. So we were all children at the time. The adults were even children. The elders were figuring shit out. So like, you know what? Let me explain it to them this way.
That's what's the world like? Well, there's a giant turtle, and we're all on this giant turtle. And right now it's above the water, but one day it's going to go back under, and we're all going to drown. So be nice to the turtle. We call the turtle Squiggy.
You apologize to Squiggy. I can't believe you called Squiggy a dickhead.
Squiggy the turtle. Oh, Fred, do you not like
dickhead? But you're exactly
extra nice to you.
I hate it. Where you started it, that you need to like accept some kind of thing like that to make yourself a better person. No, just be a better person anyway.
Just be a better person, and that's it. And that goes back to our show with Todd and the what the hell happened is I was starting to go on a rant, but I kept hearing myself echo, which is
that was starting to throw me off. It was terrible. I was hoping it was just me on my side, just hearing it, but no, that was in there.
But I was starting to go off and rant, but I kept hearing myself and I kept listening. And I'm like, what the fuck who's talking? And
now you know how I feel when I hear it.
But this fucking world's going the wrong way. It really is. I mean, this fucking world is people worship a god, and it's not the god that everybody thinks they're worshiping. They're worshiping the fucking dollar. They're worshiping hey, why can't I get mine? Why do they need something? And they place this mythical creature in the center of it. And people like you and I and other humanists and atheists, we see that the fucking world's going. It's like being the only person with vision in a room full of fucking blind people.
Yeah, like you woke up and everybody else around you is still having those like nightmares, like dog nightmares, where they're running in their sleep.
Yeah, like, digging. They're just constantly digging, and that's all we do is we're trying to warn people that you can be good. You can have a society that takes care of people. You don't need to have everything all the time. Your children don't need to have everything all the time. Your
telling my daughter's grandparents that.
But everybody seems to think that you can't take care of poor people. You can't. The rich are the priests of this new religion. They can't do any wrong. They're the fucking popes, and the poor people are the lepers, and we can't touch them because they're going to give us some kind of fucking disease.
Yeah.
It's the opposite way. The rich are the parasites. The poor are the people that we need to focus on, because you cannot judge a society by how many rich people you have. You can only judge a society by how we take care of our most downtrodden.
That's why I think autism is actually a level of evolution. And that's why autistic people, or people that are kind of more introverted like that, like the really, really smart people, these super brainiac scientists that are really inventing things, getting things done. If you ever talk to them, they don't really pay attention to that stuff. They're kind of like closed off from it. They're just kind of focused on this thing. And hopefully that's where it's really heading. They're like shutting all that out and just like, oh, I don't know what the hell Facebook is. I'm just going to cure cancer. All right,
yeah,
there you go.
I don't know what Facebook. Hey, Mr. Scientist Autism Guy, do you get on Facebook? No, I don't like anything.
I don't know what Facebook is. I'm going to blast this lander off to Mars. Here we go.
Here we go.
See, guys like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's like,
here we go
with it. But he's doing a show like the Cosmos. He don't give a shit who disagrees with him on it. He's just going to put it out there and be like, listen, this is what's really fucking happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, you really can't. You really have to. It's a fine line you have to walk. The biggest problem with me and why people don't like me, and I know it's hard to believe that there's people who don't like me, is I am cocksure. I am very stubborn. I am very cocksure, but I do not suffer stupidity, and there's no need to. There's no need to suffer stupidity. And I mean, you got to fucking beat it. It's a disease. You got to stamp it out. You got to cut it out. You got to point out your friends, and you got to do. I mean, friends, family, coworkers. You got to point them out. You got to say, no, you're a fucking retard. That's the worst fucking idea I've ever heard. You cannot do this to fucking people and be expected to be called a good fucking person. And it's the only thing that will fucking eradicate it. But everybody wants to turn a blind eye. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, you know what? He is a good guy. He just doesn't like helping poor people." Well, that's not the fucking definition of a good guy.
He goes to church, on Sundays.
He's a great guy. He has like $200,000 in the bank. Fuck off. Anyway, well, this was a rant show, apparently.
Yeah, that was a rant show. What's our website?
This is halfasspodcast.net. Find us on Half-Ass Podcast on Instagram, Twitter.
Dear Lord, we've come here together.
Find Half-Ass John on Twitter. Rand Gray on Instagram. Follow us, like us. Like I said,
Fuck Ryan.
You want to pray to God about pray to God for me, Ryan or John. Ryan, okay. John, and ask him to bestow upon us people who will share, like, review, and comment on our website. Subscribe to anything and everything. Halfasspodcast.net, iTunes, everything. We are a word of mouth show, and we rely solely on our listeners to spread that. So if you laughed, if you agree with us.
We do rely on many, many listeners to share the show with each other's friends and their mothers.